Apple's most important event of the year is happening in just a week, so here are not 1, not 3, but 5 things you can expect from next week's event. So I hope you have those snacks ready, and enjoy. This video is sponsored by Karma, an app and browser extension that makes sure you never miss a price drop or a coupon code. Check it out using the link below. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the event invite, as this is usually where Apple gives us hints at what they'll be announcing at the event. And there are 2 things that I've immediately noticed here. First, the background looks like a photo taken with a smartphone, which I bet was actually taken with an iPhone 13 using the new astrophotography mode. And second, we have a big glowing Apple logo in the middle, which is actually replaced by the date in the AR version of the invite, which to me looks like a tease for the new always-on display. But now let's talk about all the things to expect from the event. Starting off with the most exciting release of all, the iPhone 13. And just like last year, we would have 4 models: the 13 mini, the regular 13, the 13 Pro, and the 13 Pro Max. With the 13 mini and the regular 13 having very few upgrades over the iPhone 12. Like design-wise, they will just get a narrower notch and the rearranged camera module. And that's it. I don't mind that, I was just hoping that we would maybe get a few more design changes. Camera-wise, they are set to get sensor shift technology for better low light performance, an astrophotography mode for taking stunning night sky shots, as well as portrait mode video. Although I do see portrait mode video being restricted to only the front camera on the non-Pro models due to them not having LiDAR on the back. I'm personally really looking forward to an astrophotography mode, as iPhones have already had a great night mode before, and if Apple adds anything like the Pixel has, I think the new iPhones are going to be such a great package camera-wise. I don't really care about portrait mode video. I honestly don't see it working as well as portrait mode photos, just because the distance between the camera and the subject will constantly change when the subject is moving, but I guess that we'll have to wait and see how good this feature is. Performance-wise, the iPhone 13s will get the Apple A15 chip, alongside some potential improvements to Face ID, which will not just make it faster, but also enable it to work through face masks and sunglasses. You can already do this now, by the way, if you have an Apple Watch, which I clearly don't at the moment. And that's pretty much it. The big changes are only coming to the iPhone 13 and the 13 Pro Max. On top of all the changes that the iPhone 13s are getting, design-wise, the 13 Pros are also getting a brand new matte black color, which I'm really hoping would match the S21 Ultras, as that was my favorite matte black on any phone, as well as potentially a new orange color, which even though the leaks originally pointing this to being on the iPhone 13 Pros, I think it would actually make more sense on the non-Pro models. Now, one thing that I want to say here is that the S21 Ultra scratched quite easily and quite badly, so I really do hope that Apple adds some sort of coating to make it more durable. Speaking of coatings, Apple is said to actually apply a new coating onto the stainless steel frame in order to reduce the amount of fingerprints and smudges. Now, my guess is that Apple would simply be using brushed stainless steel, similar to what we had on the iPhone 4, maybe not as brushed, but you get the idea. That would allow it to still look premium, as it would still be stainless steel, but it would significantly reduce the amount of smudges and fingerprints. Display-wise, we are getting a 120Hz panel this time, finally, which will make scrolling and just using the phone in general feel so much more responsive. And not only that, but its refresh rate is also said to be dynamic, just like on the iPad Pro, which means that it will automatically adjust based on the content that you're viewing. But I do think that for most people, this will be the biggest change that the iPhone 13 will come with, as it will be something that you'll easily be able to notice when you're on social media or browsing the web. Not only that, but we're also getting an always-on display, something that's been on my wish list for so many years now, and something that I do enjoy using a ton on my Android phones, just because I can easily see all of my missed emails, Twitter mentions, and so on directly on the lock screen, without having to actually, tap on my phone and, check those. So you can just sit on my desk and I can just glance at it and immediately know if I missed anything. Can't wait to have this on the iPhone 13 Pro. However, what I'm excited for the most is not the display, but the camera, which is getting some huge changes on the iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. Both the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max will now have the same camera sensor, a new one that's even bigger than the one that we got on the iPhone 12 Pro Max last year. So this is what gives the iPhone 13 Pro that massive camera cutout that we've seen on those dummy units. This in combination with the sensor shift technology should give us some improvements to low light, although I'm not sure how big those improvements would actually be, as the 12 Pro Max from last year also had a bigger sensor and sensor shift technology over the 12 Pro, but the low light performance wasn't that much better over the 12 Pro. However, since the 13 Pro is getting a very significant increase in sensor size over the 12 Pro, I do think that on the 13 Pro at least, the upgrade from the 12 Pro should be quite noticeable. Now, another advantage of a larger sensor is of course a more natural depth of field, which gives you this DSLR-like look the bigger the sensor is. The ultrawide camera is also getting better on the Pro models with autofocus for a potential macro mode and a larger f1.8 aperture for once again a potentially better low light performance. And guys, macro mode is seriously underrated on phones today. Like, I love being able to get crazy close to an insect or flower or anything really and see all the super small details. And the telephoto camera is getting better too, with the 13 Pro finally getting the same 2.5x zoom that the 12 Pro Max got last year. Spoiler, don't get too excited because most phones today have 3x optical zoom, and higher end ones have 5x or even 10x, so 2.5x is actually quite low when compared to the competition. Not only that, but the 12 Pro Max also had a smaller aperture on this new 2.5x lens compared to the 2x lens on the 12 Pro, which meant that the telephoto module was actually worse in low light. I don't know about you guys, but I personally prefer a better low light shot, even if it has less zoom, than the opposite. On top of this, we're also said to be getting ProRes video, which will give us more editing flexibility, similar to how ProRAW gave us for photos. I might use it just to try it out, but if it's going to be anything like it is on professional cameras, it will take up a lot of space in favor of mostly just the ability to edit smoother. But if you are worried about space with ProRes, then Apple is said to be offering a 1 terabyte model now. And that's mostly it in terms of the iPhone 13. As you can see, the 13 line is sort of like a 12S. It maintains mostly the same design as the 12, but improves on other aspects like the camera and the performance. Now, if you want to learn more about the iPhone 13, we are going to have a final leaks and rumors video, so definitely subscribe if you want to see it as soon as it comes out. It's going to be crazy detailed, and I'm going to talk about things that, I didn't have time to talk about in this video, so definitely stay tuned for that. Okay, so you're all probably super excited for all the new Apple products launching this month, which is why I highly recommend checking out Karma, our sponsor for this video. I'm actually using Karma right now to keep track of the iPhone 12 mini price on Amazon. That's because we don't actually have one, and once the 13 mini is released, the 12 mini will drop in price, and Karma will alert me as soon as that happens. And it's super easy to get started with Karma. You just download the Chrome extension or the mobile app, and then you simply start shopping. When you find a product that you like, you just press the Karma button, and you select when you want to be notified of the price drop. Karma will automatically notify you via email or mobile notifications as soon as the price goes down, as well as when the item comes back in stock. So you can use Karma to keep track of when the PS5 is available, for example. You can even create your own custom lists to organize your tracked products better, just like I'm doing with my most desired tech list right here. With the Karma Chrome extension, Karma scans the web automatically for coupons and applies them at checkout, while also giving you cashback from select retail partners. It works with all major retailers such as Amazon, Target, Best Buy, and more. And the best part about Karma is that it's free. Check it out using the link below and start saving today. Next up, we have the biggest design change that the Apple Watch has ever received since the Series 4 from 2018, and that is the Apple Watch Series 7. We're getting the second ever redesign, much bigger than ever before, with flat edges instead of that wedge-shaped look that the Apple Watch has always had. I think it looks good, but I'm a bit worried that it will just make the Series 7 feel even less like a watch and more of like a smartwatch, if you get what I mean. For example, I think that specifically the stainless steel gold model will feel less of like an actual jewelry because of those flat sides and more of like a toy, or I don't know, a gadget. But anyway, thanks to this new design, the cases are getting bigger too. The 40mm case is now a 41, and the 44 is now a 45, barely even noticeable. But more importantly, the displays are also getting larger, from 1.78 inches on the 44mm Series 6 to 1.9 inches on the new 45mm Series 7. And I do love that because we get more complications on the screen, more space for them, obviously larger watch faces, and also a more modern bezel-less design alongside it. In fact, here's a comparison of how the bezels look compared to previous models of the Apple Watch. Speaking of that, reports are saying that the current watch faces will be updated to take advantage of this extra space, and Apple will also be releasing a couple of new watch faces specifically for the Series 7. The new S7 chip is now set to be a double-sided SoC, which will allow for more space inside for possibly a larger battery. Unfortunately, there have been no reports on Apple massively improving the battery life. I do hope that I can at least use my Apple Watch for sleep tracking, as now it's almost impossible to do that since I always have to charge it before I go to bed and then leave it on charge for almost 2 hours in the morning before I go to work, which I almost never have time for. That's why I recently started testing the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4. Not a sponsor, but a very interesting watch that so far I only lost 20% battery since last night. So, and I also slept with it, so pretty good. And Apple needs to make note of this. Now, when it comes to health sensors, multiple reports are saying that the new sensors like blood pressure monitoring or temperature monitoring have been delayed, which is pretty disappointing as we already have a blood pressure sensor and even a BMI sensor in this new Galaxy Watch 4. So I was really hoping that Apple would at least add these two, but apparently that will not be the case. Overall, it seems like the biggest change that the Series 7 is getting is this new design. Other than that, it is pretty much a Series 6 on the inside. Oh, and in case you guys are wondering, yes, we have seen reports saying that the old bands will still fit. But how? Isn't this design flat now? I honestly don't know, as the clasp used to be curved before, and now the whole watch does have this flat look, including the clasp mounting mechanism. So we'll have to wait and see, but if we are to go by the leaks and the rumors, they should fit. Now, aside from the iPhone 13 and the Apple Watch Series 7, we also have iOS 15, iPadOS 15, and watchOS 8, which will all be released to the public as they have been in beta since WWDC. Just as a quick recap, the biggest changes in iOS 15 are the new Do Not Disturb mode called Focus Mode, which allows you to have custom work and home notifications, the SharePlay functionality that allows you to watch a movie in real time with friends, as well as the improvements to maps with far more detail than ever before. If you want to learn more about iOS 15, then do check out our in-depth feature walkthrough video here. The biggest changes in iPadOS 15 are the new redesigned multitasking UI, the ability to have widgets on the home screen, the app library, as well as quick notes. And with all of these features, the iPad is now once again closer in functionality to the iPhone, which I do like, as I always found it odd how iPadOS 15 lacked home screen widgets and the app library, both of which iOS 14 had. With watchOS 8, we get a new watch face called Portrait, the Photos app gets memories and a new grid view, the Workouts app gets a few more workouts, the Home app gets some useful improvements with smart suggestions, the Sleep app can now measure your oxygen while you're sleeping, and the Breathe app is now called Mindfulness and offers a few more features. Yes, watchOS 8 is probably the smallest update that the Apple Watch has ever received, but we do get a new watch face, which is really the main thing that I'm looking for with these new updates. Okay, next up we have the AirPods 3. I wouldn't really say that these have a 100% chance of happening like all the previous ones did, just because we haven't seen any leaks saying that they would definitely happen in September, but we have seen quite a number of reports saying that they would be released this fall, and if you were to ask me, releasing new AirPods at an iPhone event definitely makes the most sense. Okay, so AirPods 3, what's new? Well, essentially, they will use a very similar design to the AirPods Pro, but with an even smaller case, making them even more portable, which I'm always a big fan of. Even though I never thought the AirPods Pro case was big by any means. Now, they will not have silicone ear tips like the AirPods Pros do, at least not by default. Some rumors have said that they could have those like separately so that, you could purchase the ear tips separately. I do think that maybe some wires got crossed and some leaks were actually referring to the AirPods Pro 2 rather than the AirPods 2. I just don't see why Apple would let you attach ear tips to the AirPods 2, as that would basically make them identical to the Pros design-wise. They won't have active noise cancelling, by the way, like the AirPods Pros do, but they are said to have the AirPods Pro's pressure relief system, where they use an air vent to equalize the internal air pressure, which is a bit interesting considering that we have no ear tips here. So maybe they will be optional after all. I guess we'll have to wait and see. We don't know the pricing yet, but I for one hope that they will come at a lower price point, as pretty much all the other wireless earbuds on the market have better sound and better battery life and even active noise cancelling, all for a lower price than the regular AirPods. Okay, and finally, the last thing to expect are some new iPads. Now, the reality is that usually these have come in October, which I believe the only exception to be the iPad 8th gen, which was released in September of last year. But other than that, it was mostly October or even spring. So if Apple does not have an event in October, then I would say that there is a good chance of us seeing the new iPads at the September event. Reason why I quickly wanted to mention them. And the one that's getting the biggest update is the iPad mini with the Mini 6, which is getting a full redesign to look like a smaller iPad Air, with no more home button, flat edges, and Apple Pencil 2 support. If you want to see our detailed video about everything to expect in terms of the iPad mini 6, feel free to check it out right here. Then the entry-level iPad is also said to be updated with the iPad 9th gen, which has been rumored to finally laminate that awful display, and also include a faster A13 chip from the A12, and then the iPad Air 5 is set to just bump the processor to an A15, so just like the one inside the iPhone 13s from the current A14, but nothing else really in terms of the iPad Air 5. So there we go, 5 things to expect from Apple's 2021 September event. Oh. What's that? We have one more. We have one more, really. Okay, we have one more thing. And the reason why I didn't really want to talk about this is because the chance is pretty low. It's like 20% or so, but it's super exciting, so why not mention it? And that is the Apple VR headset. And the reason why I'm, talking about this is because we actually heard some rumors that Apple might give us a tease in 2021 with an actual release in 2022. We were hoping to see this at WWDC, which didn't happen, and the next big event for Apple this year is this September one. So I think the chance of us seeing the Apple VR headset teased really depends on the iPads being announced in September, because if Apple announces, the iPhone, the Apple Watch, and the iPads, then I don't think there is a chance of seeing the VR headset, because the event, we wouldn't have enough time for that. But if we don't see the iPads, then I think there is a chance we might see some sort of tease. The Apple VR headset is the precursor to the Apple glasses, one that will be focused on gaming and entertainment as opposed to augmented reality and productivity, which is what the Apple glasses would be focused on. And I know you're probably tired of me promoting our previous videos, but we also did a video on the Apple VR headset here, super detailed if you want to check it out, and if you want to learn more about how it actually works and what it does. I'm personally super excited. So yeah, there we go. These are the 5 or 6 biggest things to expect from Apple's next week event. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely subscribe. It's free, you don't have to pay anything, and you get to see more awesome videos like this one, hopefully was. And we'll also be doing a lot of detailed Apple coverage in the next few days. So I'm Daniel, this has been Zone of Tech, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Zone of Tech, signing out. Cheers.